this one this morning. We're about 2.5 hours in on it. It's probably the most progress I've ever gotten done in one morning. But yeah, so I just figured I'd hop on live. If y'all have any questions, let me know. I'm always happy to answer. Gotta load up some more paint real quick. How's everyone doing today? Okay, so Rhiannon said, hi Miriam, are you glazing on a dry layer? So no, this is actually all wet paint. It's actually very wet, very slippery because I just started it today. This is all, my initial layer is all pigment stick, which are super slippery. And now I'm just going in with oil paint and rendering and finalizing shapes and everything. But you can see this is all pretty wet. Let's erase that. Oh, I wasn't talking to you, Series. Stop. Sorry. Never heard of pigment sticks. They're super, here I'll show you. They're super awesome to work with. It's just oil paint in a stick form. I'll put a little bit, just so you can see. You just draw on it like crayon. very fun to work with. Where was I? Are you using it as an underpainting? Someone asked. No. So the way I work is I usually start with like just this initial messy layer, and then I just render it and render it and render it until it looks how I want it. So it's not like a traditional underpainting. What about fat over lean? That seems so slick. They would be fatty. Okay, so they are RNF pigment sticks, and according to them and their website, when it comes to fat over lean, they should just be treated as regular oil paints. And that's what I do, and I've never had any issues with them. Hey, no problem. Thanks for joining. Someone said, hello, Miriam. Do you have book recommendation for painting techniques? Okay, so as far as painting technique, it's not a book recommendation, but there is a PDF. It's a free PDF. And it's like this, I think it was a researcher who wanted to figure out Sargent's style. And so like interviewed, worked with people who had actually studied under Sargent. Apparently he didn't teach much, so it was hard to get accurate accounts on it. But anyways, I'm mumbling. The PDF is really helpful on all things painting. I found that very helpful. And then as far as book recommendation, I also really like The Natural Way to Draw by Nicolaides. Not necessarily painting, but just drawing and art in general. Form, all the important things. That book is super helpful. Someone said, hi, just joined the live. I wanted to say I'm a big fan of your work, of your art. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining. Someone said, thank you so much. Also, what is your approach on learning art self-taught? Great question. I think I'm self-taught, as much as you can call it that. I never went to an art school. I started watching tutorials on YouTube during the pandemic. Tried to get my hands on all the free education that I could. And I think it's totally possible. I think being self-taught is a totally valid thing. We might need to bring the hairline down here. See how that looks. That looks crazy. It's trying to glare from my angle. Someone said, have you ever tried some watercolor paintings? If yes, do you like it? So I've only ever done watercolor like once or twice. Okay, and so you guys, if you're familiar with my work, you know that everything moves around a whole lot. And I find with watercolor, it requires a certain amount of planning that I am just not good at. So I find watercolors very difficult for me personally to work with. And it always amazes me when I see watercolor artists. Someone said, would I consider doing mentorships one day? You know, at the moment, it's not on my kind of docket. I've just got so much work that I'm trying to prep for the end of the year, but who knows? I never say never. I'd recommend if you are looking to do a mentorship, I did a mentorship for, oh gosh, maybe like a year when I was really trying to learn how to paint with Stephen Bauman, and it was invaluable. Rhiannon, it was an online mentorship with Stephen Bauman. If you're not familiar with his work, he's super amazing. What do you think about the idea that artists spend less time practicing their work and more time being content creators because of the age of social media? Oh, that's interesting. I do think to be a successful artist, you need to at least be aware of how to market yourself, and social media is a helpful tool for that. But I don't think that should be first and foremost. I think, if anything, artists should be spending more time on their work and less on social media. Oh, sorry guys. Someone said, thank you for your video on Aphantasia. I had a friend tell me I had it and didn't know about it. Would you share your thoughts on how I can create an original body of work? Oh yeah, so, finding out that like, okay, so for people that don't know, aphantasia is when you can't picture things in your head. Like I always thought that when people said, you know, like picture this or something like that, that it was just an expression. I never realized they were actually picturing something in their head. Now, so how does that work for me as an artist? I think that informs a lot of the way that I go about creating. I feel like I need to build it on the canvas. And that's why things change a lot. So, you know, if you're also struggling with that, taking more of a sculptural approach is, I find, very helpful. And that's the same whether you're working from references or without. Someone said, how did you become a full-time artist? Sorry, I have so many questions. No worries. I love, that's what I'm here for. Okay, so I mentioned that I started during COVID, right? And at that time, I was posting on TikTok and Instagram. And I originally made a TikTok just because I wanted to document my journey of learning how to paint. And this is one of like the craziest kind of butterfly effect stories. But the election was on, or the debates were on the TV, and I was painting in my living room, and the TV was in the background, and it was Joe Biden and Trump debating. And I posted the video of me painting, not really thinking about what was on my TV in the background, and my video ended up going viral. And I got a bunch of followers from that. And I started getting commission requests like shortly after that, which is just kind of crazy. And or people, and not only commissions, but people, you know, just wanting to buy my original stuff, which was really cool. And it just kind of snowballed from there. Just selling via Instagram and TikTok. Hey, Michelle. Thanks for joining. Yeah, that's how I started. Just kind of crazy. Michelle said, I just became a Patreon member and I'm loving your videos. You're helping me so much. Hey, thank you. That makes my day. I'm glad you're finding them helpful. Oh my gosh, this hair is looking crazy. It's gonna look a little bit like helmet hair for a bit. I'm just kind of blocking in these sections. My model has really curly hair, but I do not want to paint curly hair for this one. So we're just gonna block that in for now and call it a day. Someone said it reminds me of old master painting, but I can't remember which one at the moment. Always a compliment. If you think of which one, let me know. If also, if you guys are, if you've seen my work before, you might recognize this model from a few of my other paintings. Okay, Michelle said, what was your biggest aha moment in your career so far? Did you try many different styles when you were beginning? I'm struggling to find my process. Okay, so I think my biggest aha moment, and this is going to sound kind of nebulous, but was learning how to observe. I spent so much time painting and getting frustrated with the way my paintings were looking and that they weren't coming out how I wanted them to, but I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then just learning that I needed to really slow down and spend as much, if not more time, just observing than I was painting. All of my aha moments have pretty much all just been like mental ahas. Changing the way that I think about stuff and process it. Michelle said, so true. I find myself making up things that aren't there or skipping over critical lines and marks that need to be there. Yeah, totally. I was doing the same thing. And it was a bad habit to break. But that was probably the biggest. Once I was able to do that, I made my biggest leap. Who are some of your favorite artists? I love the emotional depth and rawness in your art. Thank you. I actually, I've shared this before, but my favorite artists, and the ones that like just give me endless inspiration, uh, Kim Jong-gi and Buguro. Those two, it's like if I see their work, I just want to run to my own canvas and create. Someone said, have you tried to use the Zorn palette? And if you do, how was your evolution on the palette? I've actually not ever used the Zorn palette. So unfortunately, I'm not very helpful in that area. Hey, Joyce. Thanks for joining. I know it's been a while since I've been on live. Okay. I am in danger of overworking this face at this early stage. So I think I need to stop and take a break just with the face, and we'll move on to something else, like the body. Body, yaddy, yaddy. Hey, Evelyn. Thanks for joining. Okay. I need some more green on the palette. I mentioned over on Patreon, but this is one of my favorite colors at the moment. It's just olive green, Old Holland olive green dark, and I love it mixed with red, Perylene red or alizarin, any sort of red, and it creates really nice shadows. Michelle said, what makes you say that I overwork all the time? All right, so I typically find that I only overwork an area if I'm misunderstanding it. Because I either I'm losing my grip on the planes of the face or starting to lose form. And I start to overwork it rather than solve the problem. And so I can feel myself getting to that point with the face where I'm like, oh, I need to step back and just look at it with fresh eyes later on. Does that make sense? Rhiannon said, Miriam, do you care about temperature of cool and warm? Because the shadow can be warm, but you have warm cheeks on a face. I honestly, I don't think about it at all. Like, I don't consciously set out to pick my colors and be like, I need a cool color here, I need a warm color here. I just think, what color do I need in this area? So it's not actively going through my brain. I used to have all my paints labeled and whether they were cool or warm, but I don't really do that now. I found that more cumbersome than helpful. Someone said, what was the process to find the palette you're using right now? So let me show you my palette actually. So I cannot stress enough kind of how chaotic and unplanned out my process is. Like this is my palette for this whole painting. You guys can see all the colors are there. I don't have a set palette that I strictly use all the time. I have a lot of favorites that pop up over and over again. But my palette is constantly evolving, and it could evolve within the same day depending on the painting. All right, I'm starting my first go at working. This is like going to be a hand here. This is the arm. There's a lot of foreshortening going on there. So just be aware, it's going to look a lot worse before it gets better. Eric said, what are your thoughts on taking artistic liberties in your work? Do you strive for reference accuracy, or do you keep things that feel right but don't exist in your reference? Great question. I never strive for reference accuracy. The only time that I ever would is if I'm doing a commission where accuracy is of utmost importance, which is why I don't do commissions. I like being able to think on the fly, change things as I want. I don't like having to stick to a reference. That doesn't mean that references aren't extremely, useful and helpful. Someone said, where do you find your references? I take them. So this is actually a photograph of my husband. I force friends and family members to pose for me, and I also work with a lot of local models. I typically find them in my local live drawing classes. Michelle said commissions have not been a good experience for me for that reason. Yeah, same. And then I also like I would love to be able to take commissions, but they just stress me out so much. the fear of, you know, possibly disappointing someone will literally keep me up at night. Okay. I'm going to bring all this over. Okay, Blue said, hi, I love your art. Thank you so much. They asked, I was wondering, did you learn how to draw well before you started painting? Great question. And the answer is no. I actually, I started off painting before I learned to draw. So during that time in COVID, I think I remember seeing, I believe it was Andrew Kadima. If you guys aren't following his work, make sure you go do it. It's really awesome. But I saw his art, and he goes straight to canvas painting with no sketch or anything. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I want to learn how to do that. And so it really never even occurred to me that, hey, maybe I should learn to draw first. Which is, I realize, a silly thing. Someone said, where are his hands? So here's one here. Here's one. I haven't really started, I've just blocked them in so far. I haven't started painting any of that yet, but I'm working on them now. Andrew Kadima is his name. I'm just kidding. Oh, that's funny. I was like, oh, they're right here. Kadima. I believe it's Cadima. Someone correct me though if I'm wrong. Someone said the fact that you of all people would be worried about disappointing anyone with your painting is mind-blowing. Well, thank you. So the last commission that I did, like true commission, the people were disappointed and it ended so badly. I was like, I'm never doing it again. All right, guys. You guys are crazy. This is okay. So, like I mentioned, I started this morning. I'm feeling good about leaving it like this for today. I might go in later and just clean up some of these edges in the background while everything is still wet. Um, but other than that, I think I'm gonna leave it here for today. But thank you guys for joining. Bye.